Hi guys, Faylina Meir here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a raw food dessert. This is a fantastic treat when you're craving something super sweet. It's made out of almonds, dates, honey, chocolate, and rolled in coconut. They can be served cold or warm straight out of the dehydrator. And best of all, it only takes a handful of ingredients and about 10 minutes to make. So let's get started. So to start with, you're going to want to use a food processor. I imagine you could do this by hand, although grinding the nuts would be rather difficult. To start, I have 135 grams of almonds that I soaked overnight, and then I had kept these in the fridge because I wasn't able to make this yesterday. And if you want, you can peel the skins off of them like this and it'll make it a lighter colored dessert, but I'm just going to leave them on. You do have to soak the almonds, okay? Then I'm going to give a heavy pinch of salt. I'm using finely ground mix of Himalayan and sea salt. And I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. These are raw, untoasted sesame seeds. You can get them in the bulk bins of most health food markets. Okay. If you want, you can add another dimension by adding chocolate. This is raw organic cacao nibs. This is basically raw chocolate before they add the sweeteners and stuff to it. Be forewarned that if you're not used to eating raw chocolate, it does taste a little bit different, and that's why we're going to add some sweeteners to this. This stuff's also expensive, guys, so this is a treat. This bag's like $7. I'm going to add about 2.5 tablespoons of raw chocolate. You can also use the powder. I would only use 2 tablespoons if you get the powder and not the nibs. So we're going to process this now and get it started. Okay, so only after about 45 seconds of processing, you're going to see that it turns into this. Okay, if you want it to be more finely ground, you can grind the almonds beforehand. However, you would have to soak them and then dehydrate them to grind them, because obviously you're not going to want to grind them wet. Okay, but as you can see, it's finely ground, but it doesn't really stick together, okay? So you have a few options. I'm going to use honey and a couple dates. If you don't have dates, you can use all honey. You can use agave, but I'm personally not a fan of agave. You know, any kind of fruit or whatever you like to make this thicken. So here I have some frozen dates that I have already pitted. I buy them when they're in season and very well priced. I pit them and I freeze them. And you have to have an okay food processor, otherwise you could get it chopped, it won't chop up well. So I'm going to just kind of take my hands and break them into pieces. I'm going to use 3 medium-sized medjool dates. But again, you can use raisins, all honey, just whatever you like. Process until it starts coming together. Starting to pack, but we still need more. Okay? This is when you're going to add your honey. Now this really is as needed or to taste, and so is the dates. If your honey doesn't come out of the bottle or your jar as well, kind of heat it in a shallow pan of just mild water, mildly warm, and pulse until it starts to come together again. So here's what we have. After adding honey as needed, it forms into a ball and holds its shape. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to add 2 more dates. It's very important though, make sure that your dates are all processed and that you don't have any big chunks left in the bottom. So you can make this into bars and you can chop them up, dehydrate them, whatever you want to do. But here's the mixture after we get done processing it. And I am am not exact when I do this. I'm going to grab maybe 1.5 tablespoons at a time. Okay? And then I'm going to just fold it in on itself until you get a ball. Okay? Now you can pick whatever you want to roll this stuff in. I'm just using coconut chips. Okay? You can use, I don't know, ground up sesame seeds. You can use more chocolate powder, almond powder, crushed hazelnuts would be great. And then, just like if you were making a non-raw dessert, kind of roll it in the coconut. There you go. So repeat this until you have a whole plate worth. And remember, they're going to be soft at this point, so be kind of gentle with them. So it took me about 10 minutes to roll all of these into balls and put the coconut on the outside, and they can be eaten now. That's the best part about raw foods. Or, if you want to make them a little harder and a little crunchier, you can stick them in the freezer for about an hour, in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours, or you can dehydrate them at 110 degrees until the outside becomes a little harder and there's a little more resistance when you bite into them. But you know what? They taste fantastic as is. They're really soft, really moist, and they're amazing. They kind of taste like cake pops, you know, the kind that you get at the fancy coffee restaurants. But yeah, so I hope you will try this. It's super easy, actually relatively cheap to make as a raw food dessert, and best of all, you don't need to feel bad when you go to grab one of these instead of your candy bar. So for this recipe and much more, please visit my website, www.faylinameir.com. And as always, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.